Most people will experience fatigue at some point in their lives, which is characterized as a lack of energy and motivation to do things during the day. While there are times when it is related to medical conditions, the majority of the time it is brought on by poor lifestyle decisions, stress, the environment, and/or psychological factors. According to previous research, fatigue can, regardless of its underlying causes, amplify negative emotions, increase feelings of overwhelm, and lessen positive emotions in those who experience it. Their capacity to process emotions throughout the day may be hampered as a result. According to research, mindfulness meditation, which focuses on being present in the moment and observing the breath as well as passing feelings, emotions, and sensations, can help to lessen the intensity of unfavorable feelings and facilitate the healthy processing of emotions. Chinese researchers at Shenzhen University recently looked into whether mindfulness techniques could also be used to lessen the negative effects that exhaustion has on processing emotions. In their article published in Frontiers in Behavioral Neuroscience, Jialan Fan, Wenjing Li, and their colleagues claimed that in prior research, mindfulness meditation reduced the intensity of negative emotional stimuli. It is not clear whether mindfulness can mitigate the negative association between fatigue and emotions, though, if people are still affected by negative emotions when they are exhausted. Claims Fan. Using event-related potentials, ERPs, this study investigated whether mindfulness meditation alters the relationship between fatigue and emotions. Event-related potentials, ERPs, are minute electrical fluctuations that occur in the brain in response to particular stimuli or events, such as seeing someone or something, hearing a particular sound. Neuroscientists and psychologists can better understand people's emotional and physiological reactions to various experiences in daily life by measuring these voltages. 145 participants who were randomly assigned to one of two groups participated in Fan, Li, and their colleagues' experiment. They recorded the ERPs of these participants. First group participants engaged in a 15-minute guided meditation during which they were instructed to focus on various body parts and their breathing. People in the second group did nothing but lie down and close their eyes for the entire 15 minutes. Following that, all of the participants engaged in a straightforward image processing task in which they were shown various images on a screen while electrodes positioned behind their ears captured ERPs. Before and after the experiment, each participant was asked to rate how emotionally and physically worn out they were. In order to determine whether the participants' emotional states and ERPs had changed as a result of practicing mindful meditation, the researchers ultimately examined the data they had gathered. They focused on late positive potential, or LPP, a neural marker of intense or heightened attention to emotional stimuli, which can provide insight into the processing of emotions when exposed to positive or negative stimuli. Positive or negative pictures can cause an increase in LPP amplitude more than neutral pictures, according to Fan, Li, and their colleagues. LPP is an important indicator of emotional stimuli perceived by individuals, they wrote. Our results indicate that, in the non-mindfulness group, fatigue significantly affected people's LPP amplitudes in the early, mid, and late windows. Specifically, the more fatigued people had lower LPP amplitudes, but not in the mindfulness group. The results showed that participants who had reported feeling exhausted at the start of the experiment did not report a significant improvement in their emotional state following the meditation session. However, the signals recorded by the electrodes suggested that the meditation had affected how their brain processed emotional stimuli, improving their responsiveness to emotional stimuli in comparison to fatigued participants who had simply rested for 15 minutes. Fan, Li, and their colleagues concluded that these findings indicated that mindful individuals are able to maintain responsiveness to emotional stimuli by maintaining LPP amplitude in a state of fatigue. Our study shows that mindful meditation partially attenuates the detrimental relationship between fatigue and emotional neural activation. This intriguing new information about the potential advantages of meditation provided by the recent research by Fan, Li, and their associates at Shenzhen University. suggests that it might lessen the negative effects of fatigue on emotional processing. Future research on this subject may use a variety of experimental techniques, such as longer or more frequent meditation sessions and more accurate measures of fatigue.